guys? This is Chris from Rekkid Talk, and so I'm going to be doing a Vinyl Finds video with a bunch of country music singles that I found. Pretty much all of them came from two sources. The first few that I'm going to go through came from the Crazy Chaotic Good Antique Store that I've been talking about, and I still have more to go through. I'm trying to kind of do it by genre. Um, and then I have another batch that I'll talk about in a few minutes. But let me get through the Crazy Chaotic Good Antique Store first. I'm going to go quickly because there's a lot to show. Don't want the video to be too ridiculously long. So we've got Roseanne Cash, 7-Year Itch. We've got The Coward of the County by Kenny Rogers. A few with some stories. So we have this song. So Stanley Walker, She Can Go to Hell as far as I'm concerned on Sing Me Records. And so I didn't know who Stanley Walker was, but for cheap, based on that title, I figured I had to get it. And so the story was this was a 1980 song. It wasn't even on Discogs. I put it on Discogs. So Stanley Walker was born in 1939 in Grand Rivers, Kentucky, which is fairly close to where I live. He used to work for the county road department. He's still alive, plays in the area with his band every so often. I've seen stuff on Facebook from as recently as last year with him gigging. He was a guest on legendary Shack Shakers, Cock-a-Doodle Doo, which is sort of Colonel J.D. Wilkes from Paducah and his crazy sort of country tribute album. But the story with Stanley Walker was that there was a rockabilly singer named Ray Smith, who was also from Western Kentucky, who was notable in late 50s, early 60s, especially. And Stanley Walker was the guitar player in Ray Smith's band from the late 50s up until the early 70s. Smith eventually passed away due to suicide in 1979, but Stanley Walker is still around doing country. Here's somebody a little bit more famous. Somebody named Garth Brooks, American Honky Tonk Bar Association for Jukeboxes Only, but I have it anyway. This one was one of the few in picture sleeves at the Crazy Chaotic Good Antique Store, and you can pretty much date what year this record was just from that picture. Yes, it was 1988 when acid wash jeans, southwesterny shirts, and bolo ties were in fashion. And I used to have a southwesterny shirt and a bolo tie that I would occasionally wear then. Fortunately for you, I have outgrown that shirt and gave it away, so you don't get to see me do that. A few others from the Crazy Chaotic Good Antique Store. We got some Freddie Fender with Secret Love. It's in the Wrong Company sleeve. We've got Loretta Lynn with Coal Miner's Daughter, obviously a well-known song. Dolly Parton, Joshua, that early 70s RCA label. And we've got, I went ahead and put in Elvis Presley because this is 70s Elvis Presley. I really don't want to know. And, I showed this in another video, but Johnny Paycheck, Take This Job and Shove It. Great song, terrible person. And now let's talk about the other batch. And so the other batch, which I believe is 40 records, came from a flea market, an indoor flea market. So it's one of those places with like permanent booths, but it's only open on the weekends. It's not an outdoor place. And so one of the booths had several hundred, maybe over 1,000 singles. They were all country singles. They were all $1 each. They were all in company sleeves. Tons of them were promos. I suspect that this came from the collection of somebody who was probably a disc jockey in country music, was somehow in country radio. Many of them were in very good shape. Some of them were virtually unplayed. Gonna blitz through most of them fairly quickly. We got stuff ranging from the 50s through the early 90s. So first of all, we've got Discos Colombia. So we got some Spanish music. This is Manuela Torres with she was 18 years old in 1972, and I literally think this record had never been taken out of the sleeve until I took it out and played it. Unfortunately, I played it. It's really schmaltzy Mexican pop ballad. And we've got some Chet Atkins with Yakety Axe, as opposed to Boots Randolph with a Yakety Sax from 1965. We got some Lefty Frizzels here. We've got Make That One for a Road, A Cup of Coffee from 1964. A Little Unfair from 1965. And then this one was a reissue of a couple of his hits from the 50s. So If You've Got the Money, I Got the Time was a #1 country hit in 1950. The flip side, Mom and Dad's Waltz was a #2 in 1951. This was a reissue from the 60s. I showed this one in JT's video. New Riders on the Purple Sage, Just Another Night in Reno, promo, 1977, some country rock. We got some David Allan Coe, also from 1977 with Face to Face. Watch, the ending's cold. They wrote that with Sharpie on the label. Blind Bias sort of one. This is somebody I did not hear of. Oni Wheeler with Be Kind to the Children, and The Train to Louisville, some country from 1974 on the Papa Joe label. Not really familiar with the Papa Joe label. Next one, this was one of the few that came in a picture sleeve. So we got Buck Owens and his Flat Top Boys, the Buckaroos, Gonna Have Love. I believe that was from 1965. I have that written down. Yeah, 1965. Another Buck Owens here. Bridge Over Troubled Waters. So this is a cover of the Paul Simon song. I don't have the year written down. I think this was late 60s, possibly early 70s. We got Jerry Jeff Walker, Goodbye Easy Street from 1975. We got Red Savine and Minnie Pearl. I, of course, remember Minnie Pearl from the Hee Haw Show. Alabama from 1966. And it's a super heavy, super thick vinyl. Like the 7-inch version of 180 gram, although nobody cared about that back then. Jerry Lee Lewis, What's Made Milwaukee Famous has made a loser out of me. I mean, that's a classic country song title, if I ever heard one. And then Another Place, Another Time. On the flip side, this is a reissue. Both of these songs were country hits in 1968. I decided I should have some Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs and the Foggy Mountain Boys in my collection. So this is Don't Let Your Deal Down was the single from 1957. Sort of this yellow and black Columbia label with some, I guess this is a 4-eye. Never heard people talking about 2 eyes and 6 eyes. This is a 4-eye. Then we've got, the next one is another person that was unknown to me. Nat Stucky, Adorable Women on the Paula Records label. This pinkish a label, a nice custom sleeve from Shreveport, Louisiana, 1967. We got this Patsy Cline reissue here. Obviously, that sort of 80s looking MCA label. So we've got Crazy and Your Cheating Heart on there. We've got John Denver, Take Me Home Country Roads from 1971. We got another Chet Atkins here. I think I showed a Chet Atkins earlier. I'm just checking my notes to see. Oh, Mr. Sandman. So this is from 1954. We got Roy Acuff and the Smoky Mountain Boys with Wabash Cannonball on the Hickory Records label from Nashville. And that was from 1962. We got the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band with Mr. Bojangles on the Liberty label from 1970. And then this one is probably more of a novelty. We got Elmo and Patsy. Grandma got run over by a reindeer from 1979. And I can tell you when I was a kid, they played this song a lot. Apparently, it's really funny that Grandma got run over by a reindeer. And we got some Star Day label here. Johnny Bond, Bottom of the Bottle. You gotta have drinking songs. That was from, what year was that from? 1968. We got a couple from Bob Lumen. If You Don't Love Me from 1967. I think he was more known for his rockabilly stuff in the late 50s, early 60s. This one is sort of a novelty, wish one by him. We've got The Great Snowman and the Pig Latin Song from 1961. More Loretta Lynn. You're Looking at Country. And the flip side is When You're Poor from 1971. Then I have a bunch of Hank Thompsons. I pretty much cleaned this place out of Hank Thompson, except for the Hank Thompson that were either in bad shape, which wasn't many of their records, or doubles. So do I have these in the wrong order here? If Lovin' You Is Wrong from 1955. We've got Simple Simon, also from 1955. We've got Weepin' Willow from 1956. I was trying to put these in chronological order, but they got messed up. The earliest one from 1954, If Lovin' You Is Wrong. And you can see these are all in these 50s capital sleeves and that purple label. A Six-Pack to Go from 1960. Those drinking songs. And then we're getting into some newer stuff with some different looking labels. So this one is in the wrong sleeve. It's in an RCA sleeve, even though it's on Capitol. Westphalia Waltz from 1962. We got Smoky the Bar from 1968 with clubs, spades, diamonds, and hearts on the back for your card playing pleasure. And that's on Dot Records. Another one on Dot Records, we've got On Tap, In the Can, or In the Bottle. So Hank Thompson will take beer just about anyway. That one's also from 1968. And then finally, a later career one from 1978 on the MCA label. So you can see that's the same label that Patsy Cline reissue was on. And so the song here is called Tony's Take Up Drive-In Cafe. Wonder if you can get beer there. And then the final few albums I'm going to show, we've got some Dwight Yoakums, and a bunch of these have picture sleeves. So we've got Guitars and Cadillacs from 1986. I think this is pretty much right around the beginning of Dwight's career. We've got Long White Cadillac from 1989. I guess Dwight likes Cadillacs. And then we've got I Got You from 1989. That very late 80s looking design on that company sleeve there. The Heart That You Own from 1992. Then we've got a duet with Patty Loveless. Send a Message to My Heart from 92. And then finally, and this one's on Epic, because this was part of the soundtrack to Honeymoon in Vegas. So we've got Suspicious Minds, the cover. I think Elvis did the most well-known version of it. There's the Fine Young Cannibals version of it. And then there's a Travis Tritt song on the flip side called Burnin' Love. And both these songs were from this Honeymoon in Vegas movie from 1972. So there's a ton of country singles. We're in at 15 minutes. I wonder if anybody watched this long. If you did, you must be bored.